Hey everybody, and welcome to Moviegoer. I'm Max Forrest,
I'm Paul Ogie.
and today we're going to be talking about Nosferatu from 2024. Wait,
Yep, 2024, 1979, and 1922.
yes, see, Paul knows
Yeah.
everything. Without further ado, we're going to start with my 1979 review because it's really quick, and I want to get it out of the way because I feel like Paul has a lot to say. So, Nosferatu the Vampire, directed by Werner Herzog. Let's roll the trailer. So without further ado, my loves, likes, and dislikes of Nosferatu the Vampire. Holy slow, Batman, because this one's a chore. This is going to be a quick review. I'm sure Paul has something big and beautiful to say, but I'm just gonna rag on this movie a bit and then peace out. There isn't enough movie to review. We spend forever on a beach walking with our main couple for ages. We ride a horse on the way to the vampire's castle for ages and ages. We walk and walk for ages. There are seemingly endless shots of nature for ages. Our lead actor walks around the vampire castle forever. Then we cut to his wife just walking on the beach for ages. We're on a boat, and then we just watch it sail. I will admit, I went on Instagram during some of this. I couldn't take it. The only bit of excitement was that our lead's wife has a psychic connection with the vampire, and he sets out for her. Our lead has to save her from Nosferatu. That's it.
First, let me just say, I like Robert Eggers' work. I love The Lighthouse. I love The Northman. I didn't see the VVH, but whatever. I had high hopes going into this one. So I rewatched the original Nosferatu from 1922 just as a refresher and to see how similar or different it is. Pretty much like two-thirds of the new one is literally beat for beat exactly like the original. I mean, Nosferatu was a ripoff of Dracula back then and doesn't change much now. Even the dialogue was pretty close to the original. It was kind of cool to hear the dialogue though, instead of reading it on text cards. The music is a nice mix of what you would expect from that period, and some modern horror elements too. There were a few cheap jump scares that didn't get me at all. It's not really scary, mostly uncomfortable and atmospheric. Of course, I have to mention the cinematography, and man, this looks great. Jaron Blasch, I think, was the cinematographer on this one, and Eggers' other films, so it's no surprise that almost every shot was beautiful. I swear, take any frame and you can hang it as a painting. And there were some really great long takes too. Nothing super fancy, but really effective at building the tension and letting the audience sit in the atmosphere. The original did this very well too. I would say the only major difference is the third act. The first and second act moved really fast, but the scenes were slow and tense. It gave time to build suspense, but it still told a lot of story very quickly. The third act is where it complicates things. The plan to kill Count Orlok, it brings in more explanation, adds a small subplot that pads the runtime out a bit. The original is about like an hour and 20, and this one is about 2 hours and 20 minutes. I think this works best as a remake, not so much a standalone. It really relies on the audience's prior knowledge of vampire lore and specifically the Nosferatu version. I mean, the original Nosferatu is a little over 100 years old, and the original Book of Dracula is about 130 years old, so it's pretty much engraved in pop culture by now. The acting was really well done, the entire cast was believable, and you can tell they were really into it. I loved Count Orlok's voice, though. It was so menacing and commanded your attention. The sound design was really effective. Overall, I think it's fine. I think some of the changes and explanation to Count Orlok's desires were a little too much. It takes some of the themes a little too far, but maybe that was the point, to make it more uncomfortable. I still like Lighthouse and Northman more, but this ain't bad. I would recommend it if you like atmospheric horror. Yeah, so you really didn't like the 70s one.
Yeah, I think it was 1979.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my god, so slow.
Yeah, slow, but not in a good way.
Not a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was meditative, I think is a word they like to use. Yeah, it was just, I went on Instagram.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
It sounded like it was hitting like the key scenes, just like not executed well. Like from what you described, I haven't seen the 70s one.
There was nothing scary.
Mm.
It had all that slow junk.
So, I mean, the original is pretty straightforward. I think some of the differences between the 1922 one and this new one was they added a lot more explanation for why Count Orlok is going to the city, like wants to bring plague to the city, and it's like I kind of liked the more simpler story of the original one, and you know they kind of expand on the plot on how to kill him, and I can kind of see why, because the characters are a little smarter in this one. In the original, like I think they just kind of had to speed things through, so like there's a little bit of deception at the end, and the wife tells her husband, "Oh, go get the doctor," and then while he's out getting the doctor, that's when Orlok comes in, and then she like tricks him to stay all night, and then he dies in the sunlight. And they kind of
that happens in the 1979 version too. He has a heart attack in the sunlight.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's different. Like in the 1922 one, he disappears and turns to smoke. You know what's kind of interesting?
What?
Nosferatu is what brought the idea that vampires can't go out during the day.
Really?
Yeah, that was, and it became so popular that it kind of like became like part of vampire lore.
Nosferatu!
Oh, yeah.
Wait! If that was you on the phone and you on the bus, then who was flickering the lights? Nosferatu!
Well, I mean, actually, I think that, most people our age probably had a very similar experience where they saw it in that one episode of SpongeBob, and like, what? Also, too, it's like, those writers, like, where did that reference come from? Like, that's just straight out of left field, like, you know what I mean?
Take a little bit of that.
When that episode came out, it was probably the early 2000s, so it was like, 80 years after Nosferatu came out. Like, what a weird reference to throw into a kid's show.
I know.
You know?
It was a little scary, but it was funny.
Yeah. But, hey man, I'm sure we're not the only ones that got interested in seeing the movie.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and if you could, share in your Facebook, your Instagram, your social media, whatever. It would really help us out. Thank you very much for watching.
Thanks.